All right, welcome in. It is Tuesday. It is time for Total Bases. It's also $5 Tuesday, which means a whole bunch of plays are going to be up on the WagerTalk site for just $5. The three of us will have $5 plays on the site. I am running a little late this morning. I'm a little behind. It's because I was up till about 3 in the morning watching my 5% play yesterday. Somehow it got there. Brian, I'll start with you. You were at the game. I didn't feel like I should have had to get lucky with the A's plus 1.5. I felt like that should have been a pretty clear winner. But of course, extra innings is where the dog tends to go to die. And it looked like we were dead. And then suddenly, and then all of a sudden, we're in another extra inning. It was certainly. What was it like being at that game? Because it was one of the craziest games to watch of the year.
It was fun. I had mentioned how they do the setup with the ABC and then start with one. I was in A, so I was front row right by the left field, and we will be all week, but right by the left field ball boy. Yeah, it was strange. The first couple that went out, you could hear it, and I've been to the minor league games. We go a lot of the minor league games. You know, this building's been there for a few years, so it sounded different. And then the next one after that, as soon as it left the bat, holy! And at that time of night, the way it was from a viewing standpoint, I'd lost the ball, so I don't know how far these balls went. But when I saw the total of 11. I didn't realize that was the over and under on home runs. You know how many home runs I hit? 11. It was a crazy game. Walking in, it was free A's t-shirt or free A's jersey day. And these guys next to me, they go, all I want is more than 11 runs in this game. And they hit the over in the third inning. So it was a lot of fun. I'll be back at it tonight. I'll head over there after the night's game. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a beautiful day. In Vegas, you don't get much humidity. It's a lot of dry heat. But because of clouds yesterday, it was probably the nicest feeling from a weather standpoint ball game I've been to in my life. It was really good.
Tokyo Brandon, I texted. We have a little Slack message. That's what we use to communicate here at WagerTalk. And I was somewhat joking, but I did I said, hey, there's going to be 27 runs in this game. And there ended up being 29. And honestly, though, if you've watched enough Aviators baseball over the years, which I watch constantly, Brian's been to a whole bunch of games, like that ballpark produces games like that at the AAA level. So, like, to me, that wasn't that surprising to me. What do you have? Like, we're going to talk. This is going to be our feature game. So, Tokyo Brandon, why don't you kick us off? Brewers A's. You saw what you saw last night. This crazy game. The Brewers somehow win the game 15-14. How do you even approach this one today? Where are you going with this one today?
So, Adam, you had 2 outs in the 11th inning, and your team hit 3 home runs with 2 outs. And
I only needed 2. I really didn't want that third one.
Actually,
14-13 would have been fine.
I was on the Brewers -1, so I got a push for 4% play. But anyways, Ralph just posted something on our company message board that the A's are the first team to hit 7 home runs and lose in history. So, oh wait, no, I'm sorry, they're the 5th team in history to hit 7 and lose. I can't believe that's happened 5 times. But anyway. Congratulations on your 5%. I had the Red Sox, who were absolutely dead from the get-go. They were just awful. Anyways, regarding this one, it's $5 Tuesday, guys. So everything is $5 on the site or free. So take a look at what your favorite capper has. I have several plays up for $5. How do we approach this one? Well, I kind of have a theory that I'm conflicted here because yesterday there were 2 decent starting pitchers and they scored 28 runs. Now today we have 2 somewhat unreliable pitchers. At least, well, Gins looked pretty good, but Gasser is definitely unreliable. So that would lead me to think that there's going to be 20 runs again. But teams tend to kind of run out of steam when they have a game like that. You know, even the games in Mexico, when, the totals were like 14.5 and whatnot. Game 1, boom, they bombs away. And then game 2, they score like 9. So today the total is 12.5. And man, it would take some serious gumption to take the under, but it seems like aren't they going to run out of gas, or are they just going to pick up where they left off? It's one or the other. I don't know how to call it. What do you think, Adam? Since you are the man of the day with your 5% win, down 4 runs in the 11th inning, tell us what you think.
I have some thoughts here, but I want to go to Brian first. His boots were on the ground. Boots on the ground. He got to feel what it was like in the stadium. Before I make my sort of pick on this game, I guess what I'm asking you, Brian, what I want to ask you is, like, do you have any reason to think that this is going to be like a different game than you saw last night in terms of just like the ball traveling and everything that you sort of experienced when you were there?
Yeah, from what I've looked at from a weather standpoint, it's looking like, let me get a quick look at it. Yesterday I said they expected home runs to be 44 or 41% more than normal. Currently, 62% more than normal. They're expecting as many. The wind's blowing out in Coors Field too, and they're expecting as many runs as they would be in Coors Field today. So, I just did a video yesterday, and down at the Westgate, a lot of us did it. And one of the things I talked about was anticipating where the line was going to move. We're all watching that game, and we're seeing these balls fly there like crazy. And we're laughing with the ball boy, and about how many home runs they're going to hit. And we knew what was going to happen, and they scored 12 in the first 3. That's okay. And then we're thinking, okay, well, 12 in the first 3, that guy scored 20, right? Why would anything change if the wind continues to blow out like that? They faced what was one of the hottest pitchers in Major League Baseball, a lefty. They don't hit lefties. The A's don't hit lefties as well as righties, and they still pounded him. And his ERA went way high. It went up about a run more than it was yesterday. Still good numbers, but I'm sitting there thinking, I sure hope they don't put anybody on my fantasy teams in this game to pitch. So it was one of those days that if you're watching it, you're thinking, oh, who's going to score next? And the guy behind me, after Vegas, I think scored 4 or 6 runs or something early in the first inning, he goes, how comfortable do you feel about that? And everybody started laughing because it was one of those, who's ever got the ball last in a Monday Night Football game or something.
All right, so a big basis of my handicap yesterday, and going with the A's plus 1.5. Remember, they again. I'll say this again. The plus 1.5 is not just, oh, you're taking the extra run. Like I even wrote about it. You're protecting against a bullpen collapse. Well, that happened, right? You're basically, the way I was looking at yesterday's game is you had 2 extreme fly ball pitchers. Jeffrey Springs, extreme fly ball pitcher, right? Kyle Harrison, extreme fly ball pitcher. Now, over the course of this year, he's gotten a lot of swing and miss. But when Kyle Harrison allows the ball to be put in play, he pitches up in the zone, a lot of fastballs, and he's been very effective as a fly ball pitcher. The problem is, last night, routine fly balls were leaving the ballpark. That's why you saw Harrison have so much trouble. So when I look at this matchup, I have to gravitate toward JT Ginn and the A's. JT Ginn keeps the ball on the ground. JT Ginn has called this his home ballpark for like 2 seasons now because, of course, JT Ginn spent a considerable amount of time in AAA with Vegas. So I don't think I actually think the A's have a pretty big advantage here. Remember, yesterday, Jeffrey Springs hadn't pitched there much, right? He's a big leaguer. He's a veteran. He really maybe might have had like a rehab start along the way. And I don't even know off the hand if it was in Vegas. JT Ginn's probably made 20 starts in this ballpark over the course of his minor league career. And who do you have coming in? Robert Gasser. He's another fly ball pitcher. He gets a lot of outs via the fly ball. Again, the market has adjusted. We're not going to catch A's plus 1.5 here. So, we still have to sweat out the A's poor bullpen, but I think the A's have like a much bigger edge than they did yesterday. The problem is the books have now adjusted. you have to decide if you just want to take the A's to win. It's certainly something I'm considering, Brian. I lean A's here.
Yeah, and I didn't mention this on yesterday's show. Not only has Ginn been in this situation before, so have a lot of these players on this team because they're such a young team. So they've all played here before. In fact, there's somebody was talking about one of the guys for the A's that they said, yeah, he says this is his first game back, and he says, but yet he's been here the last 5 days, so he's been able to hit in this ballpark, and very similar to Colorado, where I talk about how the Rockies are the best home field advantage in baseball. The other teams get out there and, it's like a batting practice type of thing, especially when you get the oohs and ahs from, everybody loves the home run derby. And these players that haven't played there want to see how far they can hit it. Whereas the guys that have been there before coming up in the minors, they've been through all that before. So it's more a situation where they're going to come out and play like they normally would. While the other guy, it may not be much. Maybe 2% of his brain is saying something different than it normally does. And if you're not fully focused, I kind of like the A's here in this game if I'm going to play it. But I got home last night, and the total in this game was 12. Now I'm seeing some 13s out there. Mm-hmm. So once the public gets involved, and they're only going one way on this one, if you like the over, you better get it now.
Yeah, and listen, don't just assume that every game here is going to be high scoring, because the Aviators will play a 21-10 game one day, and then the next day they'll play a 4-2 game. It changes. I would not be dying to like take a bad number on the over, especially because, again, if Ginn goes out and pitches well, like you're talking about 13 runs, you could get a 6-2 type game. It's very possible. Like he's thrown the ball well in this ballpark before. The last thing I'll say, I think maybe JT Ginn, maybe the A's first 5, because that bullpen is just so bad. It's really, really bad.
Yep.
Interesting game.
It is. And my wife she goes, never heard of this guy. And I go, nobody else other than the A's have either.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Yeah. There is a lot of, they really don't have anyone that you want in a leverage spot at this point. Guy who came in like the 13th or 14th, Suarez, was excellent out of nowhere.
They had a lot of guys used up yesterday too, so they're going to be thin and on the ropes from the get-go.
And the thing is, we talked about that yesterday, so now we've got a game where they already have pitched.
The
Yankees had to use all ball like one guy yesterday. So, if as the series goes on, there's no way, no more. You'll never see that 11 again. We saw yesterday.
Yeah, and listen, I felt like that was one we needed to spend some time on. It's all the baseball world has talked about since last night, so it was a worthy feature game. And hopefully, again, I think A's probably kind of makes sense. We'll see if they can get it done. All right, Tokyo Brandon, coming to you here. Alex Rand, thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. He says, good morning from D.C. The books are starting to catch on to my Nationals, making them basically a pick 'em on the road today. What shall we do? Tokyo Brandon, you talked about this for a while. It took the books. They just, for whatever reason, they just weren't catching on, right? We've talked about the Nationals, their ability to hit for a while, some of the prices that we've seen with them. So how do you see this one? Have the books caught on to the point where you want to go the other way, or are you still seeing some value with the Nats here?
Yeah, Hauser, I think the reason is mainly because the books don't have any faith in Hauser. And they probably shouldn't. He's not pitching well. He's got a 1.58 whip, which is bad. But against these batters, his stats are actually decent in his history, and he's got a pretty good sample size also. So Alvarez is a guy who doesn't go deep into games. He's got good stats on the surface. Was he got a 1-2 whip? Yeah, his stats aren't bad. The problem is he's barely getting into the 5th inning, barely finishing the 4th inning of most of his starts. And that Washington bullpen, you talk about bad bullpens, they've got a bad one. San Francisco has a bad one as well. But one of these teams is hitting really well right now, and one of them is hitting kind of mediocre. So Washington's the mediocre one. San Francisco's been belting the ball this week at least. So they're kind of on a roll here. I think with both terrible bullpens, you'd have to go either over or take one of the team totals over. And I think a San Francisco team total over would be good here because their hitting is hot. Alvarez has decent numbers, but he's probably going to exit after the fourth inning as he has been all season. And that leaves the 26th ranked out of 30 bullpen exposed to the number 3 current form hitting team. So I think a San Francisco team total would probably be the way to go instead of a side.
Yeah, Brian, I have been kind of anti-Adrian Hauser this year. He, of course, comes to the Giants after last year. Had an interesting season last year. So Adrian Hauser started off in the Rangers organization, was really good in AAA. They didn't have room for him. They even said on a broadcast that they really just were hoping that he cleared waivers so they could get him back. And the night before they were set to make the roster move that they were kind of forced to make, he goes out and throws 8 shutout innings for Round Rock. The White Sox see that, they grab him, and he's great. Great, so to the point where the White Sox were able to actually flip him in a trade to the Rays. Now he gets to Tampa. He starts to sort of run out of gas toward the end of the year. And suddenly, I'm like, during the offseason, Brian, I'm like, this is the Giants that's what they're going to do they're going to grab him and throw him in the starting rotation. I never really liked it, and I still don't like it. So I am a little bit anti-Hauser, which makes me pro-Nats, but I do see what you guys are saying about the prices. That being said, I still think the Nats are a little value at even money. So Nats Giants to you.
Yep, I agree. I talked about this last time he pitched, but I like Alvarez. I think we're going to get a full 5 innings out of him. And I don't know where Hauser was born, but if he was Canadian, wouldn't they change his name to Hoser? Yeah, Hauser.
Have to ask Prez. Have to ask Prez that. I don't know.
There you go. But Hauser came out of nowhere basically, and pretty much other than that 1.5 year, he's gone back to pretty much nowhere. He's not a guy I'm looking to back. When this game popped up, I said, even though Washington had the big comeback, I said, I still like Washington. I think they're the better team. TB talked about San Francisco's hitting. Well, he did that on the road. This is not a good hitting ballpark. The wind could be blowing out. In fact, it's blowing out very often, and it doesn't matter because it's swirling. So a lot of the runs in this ballpark come because of the bad defense as opposed to the hitters in the game. But San Francisco is knocking the hell out of the ball in the last series, and then they come here and struggle against this Washington team who didn't throw out the best pitchers in Major League Baseball yesterday. So I think there are going to be some runs scored in this game. It's sitting there at 8.5, which is a little bit higher than what we normally see in San Francisco, but based on what is going on with the 2 starters and the way that game ended yesterday, yeah, I could play the over here, and I would prefer the Washington team total over as opposed to the San Francisco.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think the Nats can score off Hauser. They scored runs late yesterday. The Giants are so tough because they have a lot of talent. There's talent on the roster. They should be better than 27-40. But it's like every time I feel like they have a chance to kind of turn a corner, they play a really good series in Chicago. I mean, they had the game won last night. And so to lose in that fashion, a team that I've sort of said is like, I feel like they kind of, operate off vibes a little bit, right? The vibes are going good. They take back-to-back games in Milwaukee to split that series. That's really impressive. Take 2 of 3 on the road at Wrigley. That's really impressive. Here I am thinking maybe this is a great spot for them at home to come home, get the Nationals. It's a beatable team. And they have them into the 9th inning and choke away a 3-run lead to lose 4-3. So it's like, it's tough to go back to the Giants after that. I think it would have to be the Nats or pass for me, but a tricky game nonetheless. All right, it's $5 Tuesday. Every play on the website is $5. All 3 of us will have plays up. I'm sure the guys have them up already. I have not bet anything to this point. I will absolutely have a play, and it will be a $5 play. Aquadome Champ, appreciate the $5 donation. And she
Great name.
says, or he says, how about them Tigers? And so let's go ahead and talk about them Tigers. Let me, again, find of course, got to find my place here in the, okay, that's right. Okay, I was going to say, off the top of my head, remember, I'm typically, I think I was up till 3 Eastern last night. That game took forever. I wasn't going to bed. Typically not staying up till 3 o'clock Eastern when I have a 9 a.m. Eastern show the next day. But that's we weren't going anywhere for that game. So just running a little behind this morning. Really just not running behind, mentally running behind. Just could not get out of bed this morning. But yes, it is the Tigers. Comerica Park tonight. Brian, I'll let you start. Twins come to town. And, how about them Tigers? Do they have a chance here? They're playing better ball. Certainly should have a chance against the Twins, but this is a pretty even matchup. So I'm curious how you're seeing Tigers Twins here.
Yeah, we're looking at Detroit right now. They're about a 125, 130 favorite with a total of 8.5. I do see an 8 out there, by the way. Bradley going against Melton. Melton's a guy I really like. Hasn't proved it yet. Hasn't had much of a chance. He's still very young. Had some setbacks a little bit, but I like him. And Bradley has been, other than really one start this year, he's been very consistent. He's done very well. And but these teams in the AL Central see each other all the time. And Detroit's the team coming on right now. I talked about that a week, 2 weeks ago. I think there was betting value on them. But I don't know if I want to lay a 130 or whatever, something like that, into this game against Minnesota, who has been very up and down lately. And they crushed sweeping somebody, and then all of a sudden they either got swept or they got outplayed. I'll tell you that in the next series. But I like both pitchers in this, and it is a pitcher's ballpark. We're getting an 8.5, more 8.5 than anything. I kind of like the under here. I like Melton, and he's a guy that nobody knows anything about, and I'm sure TB is going to talk about that in just a second. The unknown factor, but Bradley's got to the point now where he's shown me that something has changed there, and he's back to his old self, maybe even better than his old self, because his old self he tended to blow up a lot and had some walks. So yeah, I like the under in this one. At 8.5, it's a pretty good deal. If I was to see a 9, it may be a big play for me, but I don't think we'll get there.
Tokyo Brandon, over to you. I have no idea why my screen is freezing up a little bit. I'm trying to fix that right now. Didn't see any issues with my internet, but maybe the internet's slow this morning too. That's what happens when you're up till 3 a.m. Waiting for the beer league softball game to finish that you decided to bet on last night. But back to today, Twins Tigers to you. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, before the show on my Twitter X, down there, Tokyo _ Brandon, I put up the starting pitcher matchup rankings, and guess who's number 1? Taj Bradley. He's been masterful against these Tigers in his career, and I think he's having a kind of a better season than he has had in the past. So I would expect this good fortune for him to continue. I think he can hold this Tiger lineup down. I have the Tigers, however, currently hitting 9 out of 30. So they're hitting quite well. I mean, they're in the top 1/3. But Bradley has held them down in the past, and I don't see why he can't do that today. So looking at the other side, Melton, don't know a lot about him, but I do know that he's going really deep into his starts for someone who doesn't have a lot of MLB experience. I mean, his first start, he pitched into the 6th inning. His second start, he finished the 7th inning. And his third start, he finished the 8th inning. And he did that all under 100 pitches, which tells me that he is extremely frugal with his pitches. I would agree with Brian on the under, but I don't really trust Minnesota's bullpen. I got them ranked 24 out of 30 right now. So probably a first 5 under would be the way I would go in this one. And then hope that Melton is not just lucky, and hope that what he's shown us is actually legit. It probably is. So it's rare to see someone with very little experience in MLB going 8 innings and 7 innings regularly. So we'll see if he can continue that. But a first 5 under would be the way I would go here.
I have no issues with looking at the under. I think Melton's pretty good. This is a guy that the Tigers have always been high on him. Okay, he had a pretty good year in the minors last year. Kind of had an injury that derailed him a little bit. Started this year on the IL. Really, I mean, if you're just judging him off of this season, like he's been really good. The problem, like you guys said, not a huge sample, right? He started the year on the IL, so he missed some of his spring. Basically rehab assignment was pretty quick. I'm just trying to, I think he pitched for Lakeland, which is like A ball, that's low A. So that was basically, like 9 innings in Lakeland was like an extended spring type deal. And then I think he had one very short, quick relief, like couple inning outing for the Tigers, like 2 innings. I think he started the game, but he was just like in and out, which you'll see from a rehab standpoint sometime. Point is, like, they must have kind of been like, oh, okay, we've seen enough. We're good. We know we're going to need you. Because remember, he made his debut. He made his 2026 debut a couple weeks ago at the end of May. And the Tigers were really sort of desperate for starting pitching at the time. So it's almost like they saw what they needed to see. And what he's done at the big league level so far this year has been fantastic. 5 2/3, 1 run against Baltimore. 7 innings of 1-run ball against a very good White Sox team, a team that, has hit, no problem. And then 8 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts against the Rays, all 3 of which came on the road. And now he's at what I would consider a more pitcher-friendly park in Comerica. The wind is blowing in a little bit. I kind of like the under, and it would probably be Tigers or pass for me because I think right now they're still the better team. They get Gleyber back. They get Kerry Carpenter back. I don't know that you want to just be fading the Tigers right now because they're still getting priced as a team that was banged up for a while. And they've got some key guys back. And you know what? Melton is kind of one of those guys. Like he looks like one of their better starters. So it's Tigers or pass, and I can't talk you guys off the under.
Yeah, I think I checked the bullpens. Both bullpens are in great shape too. So but I kind of like TB touched on something. You can get a 4.5 minus 110 on the under in the first half. I think I'm going to use that as my parlay today. First half under 4.5 minus 110. I'm glad you were able to help me out.
What's the juice on that, Brian? What's the bid?
Minus 110. It's basically across the board. 4.5 under 1 minus 110.
And that's first 5, and then it's minus 110. That'll kick off the show parlay. We are minus 0.44 units on the season. So we keep kind of going on a run, getting in the plus, trending back toward even. Hopefully today starts the new run. On the new run with the parlay. Of course, we will have that locked in by the end of the show. I'm going to go back to the chat here. About the parlay? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Comment. Some people just don't get it. We're doing the parlay as kind of a fun thing. And people are like, you guys can't be real cappers throwing minus 160s, minus 140s into a parlay. We're not actually betting this, you guys. It's a fun thing for the show to see how we end up at the end of the year. But our professional plays that we give to clients would never be these plays that we're putting in the parlay. So please understand that.
TB. Now listen, here's the thing. Sometimes they are, and I'm not ever giving anything in the parlay that I don't think has merit. But like Tokyo Brandon is saying, this is just something that we're trying to give out some picks on a show, right? Our best pick, like are the plays that we're betting, all 3 of us. We sell them at WagerTalk. This is a free show. We all run a daily handicapping service on the WagerTalk platform. The only place you'll ever find picks from the 3 of us are on WagerTalk. Now, do I come on this show and give out plays that I'm betting on occasion? Of course. If I
Yes.
have extras, I'll always do it. Hey, on a day like this, I haven't locked anything in yet. The play I give out might be the play for clients. But like, yeah, like the goal, we're just challenging ourselves. Hey, can we get to the end of the year hitting playing a parlay every single show?
Yeah.
And can we come out ahead? Last year, we ended up like 5 units. We did it for 6 months. Listen, we turned a profit betting a 3-teamer. Everyone's like, oh, you can't make money betting parlay. Sucker bet, sucker bet, sucker bet. You're probably right. But we still came on the show and bet 6 months worth of parlays and finished ahead. The point is, we're just trying to share good information. It is a little bit just of a fun, lighthearted thing for the show. That is what the parlay is. If you're serious about betting, if you're serious about trying to make money doing this, that's what's at WagerTalk. That's where you go for the picks. Like that is where every single play I'm putting at WagerTalk, I'm betting my own money on, and it's not a small amount. And I'll leave it at that. And the other boys are as well. So again, the parlay that's going to open up the show parlay, Brian is going to go Twins, Tigers, first 5 under 4.5. And again, we are going to go back to the chat. And this is a very interesting comment. Let's get Mike S in here. I thought the same thing when I saw this morning. And I'm going to go to Tokyo Brandon. I'm going to go to Tokyo Brandon. Mike S says, imagine being told a month ago that Lauer versus Skeens would be a pick'em. I'll ride with Pittsburgh. Bats are better at home. Skeens, underlying stats, and I don't even think just his underlying stats. I think just Skeens in general, it's very apparent, is still elite. Tokyo Brandon, to you, Skeens is cheap, but the Pirates, I think this is tougher than just like, I don't think it's that cut and dry. But that being said, you got to be interested in Skeens at that price. How are you seeing Dodgers Pirates?
So, guys, it's $5 Tuesday, which means every capper at WagerTalk, their bets are $5 as long as it's not a 5% play. So generally, everything is $5 or free at WagerTalk.com. Even our 4% are huge percent plays as well. So go to WagerTalk.com and see who's got something for $5. This is a cover the logo and look at the numbers game. And if you cover the logos, you'll see that the Pirates are actually hitting better than the Dodgers in current form. The Pirates bullpen is outplaying the Dodgers bullpen in current form, thanks to Tanner Thought. And Skeens is a much better pitcher than Lauer. There's nobody who can argue with that. So Pirates are nothing. I mean, come on, they're the better team. At least right now, they're the better team. The record says different. But we've talked about this in previous shows, especially with inner city rivalries and stuff like that. But the little brother takes this stuff a lot more serious than the big brother. And the Dodgers are just trying to skate their way through the regular season and make the playoffs. The Pirates, making the playoffs would be a big deal for them. So these games are big. And look, there's a couple ways to approach this. This is the great thing about MLB is there's so many bets you can make. If you don't have faith in the Pirates winning this game, you can take when a team is underdog or playing a really good team, their team total is going to be very low. So the Pirates team total is 3.5. I think that's a good play. Their first 5 total is 1.5. I think that's a good play to the over, because the Pirates are hitting number 9 in MLB right now. They're not, they're not mincemeat, and they're playing a pretty poor pitcher with a very average bullpen. So cover the logos, plug your nose, do whatever you have to do, but that's how I would approach it.
TB, I'm really not going to disagree with anything you said. I think when, the Pirates really tough over the weekend to lose Brandon Lau, he goes down, kind of a nasty injury. I think he may be out for a period of time. I think it was like something serious enough where he might be shelved for months. That's brutal for them because he's had such a good season. But like even with that being the case, of course, Connor Griffin's been on the aisle as well. But even with that being the case, I still kind of agree. Like, this is a big deal for the Pirates. It's Skeens. It's a home game. Dodgers coming to town. Brian's nodding his head. Like, it does still feel like a game that the Pirates certainly get up for. And hey, if Skeens pitches well, can the Pirates scrape a few runs across off Eric Lauer? I don't see why not. So yeah, Pirates for me too. Brian, how are you seeing this one?
I agree. It's either the Pirates or the under. If Eric Lauer's a guy who just a couple of weeks ago was out of a job. Toronto wanted to take him out of the starting rotation. He didn't want to go out of the starting rotation. And then all of a sudden he's pitching for the Dodgers. What a life. And I agree. I like Lauer better than a lot of people do, but he's been very inconsistent, and he's had rejuvenation in the latter part of his career. So you kind of like that as an older guy. So, Pittsburgh. I haven't seen attendance situations, whatever, but this is a huge game for Pittsburgh. Not only are you playing the Dodgers, you're doing it on a season where you're fighting for the playoffs. That's not something that Pittsburgh has seen a lot. So, exciting game. The fans will be excited. Their home team will be excited. Will the Dodgers be excited? I kind of like Pittsburgh. I kind of like the under.
Let me say one quick thing, Adam. Sorry to jump in, but
go ahead.
When guys like Brian was just talking about Lauer, when you go to a contending team, it rejuvenates you. So just a little betting advice. Lauer's stats are probably going to get better because he's extra motivated because he's on a good team now. It's just these guys are human and they're not robots. So just wanted to throw that in.
Listen, the Pirates, still very much in the mix. They're 34-32. I think anyone around Pittsburgh would tell you that they have a small window, and the window is already in play, where like they could get to the playoffs, and I think they know that within a couple of years, Paul Skeens is likely not a Pirate anymore. They're certainly not going to be able to keep all these guys, right? The Seth Hernandez is coming up through the ranks, and the Ashcraft, and they already paid Griffin, so they're gonna keep him. But I think the Pirates right now, 34-32, they've got to still feel like they're in the mix this year. And this is a game, they just got swept by the Braves. No shame in going to Atlanta and getting swept. That's a very good baseball team. They're playing on the road. But this stretch coming up is huge for them. They get the Dodgers at home, the Marlins at home, then they play the A's, the Rockies, Mariners at home, Reds at home. That's like kind of a manageable schedule. And I just don't think they've got to be going into this game. And it's like Skeens is on the mound. We've got to get this one. You're going to get all of their best relievers behind Paul Skeens. If the Pirates can just generate a little offense early in this one, I think they have a lead. And I like how the game stacks up for them. So I haven't got to the window with it yet, but it's certainly a game I'm considering for today. Pirates, I felt like that was a little cheap. I would have had them closer to like minus 125. So I felt like that was a little cheap. All right, Tokyo Brandon, we're still going to get a couple games in here. I'm curious to see if you wanted, if you know what your parlay leg is going to be, or if you want to throw out a game that's going to be your parlay leg.
I think I'm going to use the one we just talked about. I think I'm going to use the Pirates team total over 3.5. I like it. The only thing that I don't like about it is they're at home, but I think they can get the Lauer early, and I think their hitting is pretty darn good, despite being the Pirates. Cover the logo. Give me the Pirates over 3.5 for my parlay leg. I would like to bring up a game if you don't mind.
Yeah, just let me, Brian. What are we looking at for
minus 135 on the over 3.5?
Minus 135. Yeah, Pirates team total over 3.5. I can't argue with that. I do think they find their way to 4 runs here at some point during the game. TB, and you made my decision a little bit easier because now I'm not going to use the Pirates game. There's a couple other ones that I'm looking at. So cool. Throw us a game to talk about, TB. What do you want to talk about?
So let me just reiterate what I said earlier about the parlay. I do think the play that I'm giving to the parlay is going to win. Let me put it that way. I'm not just throwing stuff out and who cares if it wins or not. What I'm saying is, as professional bettors, you'll rarely see any of us put a parlay out as a client play. We're doing it for the show, just kind of a fun kind of thing. But we all do think our parlay legs are going to win. So in essence, they are show best bets. I would like to know your guys' thoughts on Kolek because I don't have a grasp on him. So I'd like to talk Rangers, Royals, if you don't mind. I got Eovaldi versus Kolek. I don't know how to read Kolek because his numbers are fairly decent. And my numbers really like him, but he doesn't pass the eye test. And the Royals, I have the Royals hitting better than the Rangers, and I have the Royals I have Kolek ranked higher than Eovaldi, but that's got to be an illusion, doesn't it? So I don't have a play on this game. I don't have a thought on this game, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, because is this like am I seeing smoke and mirrors or something? What's your read on Kolek and Eovaldi?
I'll throw it to Brian. Like, my main thought with Kolek is I always kind of thought he was a 4A guy, and he is shown much better at the big league level than I thought he was going to. So this is, of course, now when he was coming up with the Padres. I remember, I think it was early last year, the Padres were very desperate for starting pitching. They had some injuries. Kolek, Kyle Hart did not work out. Former NC Dino Kyle Hart actually started the year last year in the Padres rotation. He got crushed, and it was like next guy up was Kolek. And I was like, oh boy, this is not going to go well for the Padres. And he actually pitched pretty good. And then he's pitched pretty good since coming to the Royals. And now we're starting to go on we're starting to go on a 1.5-year sample. He stays in the zone. A lot of competitive pitches in the zone. He's not blowing anyone away. He's not going to get a ton of strikeouts, but he keeps the ball on the ground. He's in the zone. He throws a lot of strikes. I don't mind him, Brian. I don't mind Kolek. I haven't looked to back him, but I'm much less inclined to fade him like I was maybe early last year.
Yeah, I'm not overly impressed with Kolek. He's a fringe major leaguer. He has pitched better than we thought, but he's been pitching in pretty good pitchers' ballparks, San Diego, and Kansas City's a little bit different this year. But keep in mind, Bobby Witt has been having some problems. I would not touch this game from either an over or a Kansas City side until I saw that Bobby Witt was going to play. He wasn't too worried about it. But if you got a hamstring, I think it was a hamstring, it takes away a big part of his game, which is stolen bases. And I'm pretty sure you got to use your bottom of your legs a lot when you're trying to hit for power. So keep that in mind. I kind of like the under a little bit here. You can get 9.5 under 20, 15, something like that. I don't mind that at all. So that's why I'm looking at it. It's probably not going to be in my card.
One thing I will say, I don't think Kolek and Eovaldi are close. I think Eovaldi is much, much better from a if you're asking me which of these two pitchers do you give a big an edge to? To me, Eovaldi is clearly the better of these two pitchers. I'm just saying that I see maybe what the Royals saw in Kolek now, whereas last year, this would have been I would have auto faded him. He was an auto fade for me last year when he got to the big leagues with the Padres. I'm just saying that I'm not as much of an auto. I'm not looking to just immediately bet against him at this point. But I'll tell you what, I don't like the Royals. I don't like this Royals team. This is a game I'm going to go look into a little bit further. Would probably be Rangers or pass for me. I'm still not very high on this Royals team. And I think Eovaldi is much, much the far superior of the two starting pitchers. All right, I am going to, first of all, Freebird in with the donation, much appreciated. He didn't give a game, so I will give a game. We have not talked about this game yet. It is going to close out our 3-team parlay. I want to go to South Florida, Diamondbacks, Marlins. The game I'm looking at here, I do have my Marlins hat on. It was really not planned. I just didn't have time to do my hair. That's how late I was running this morning for this show, because of course I was up till all hours watching that A's game last night. But since I have the Marlins hat on, it's only right that the Marlins close out our parlay here. Marlins on the money line. If this was a little bit cheaper, which I think it was at one point, and it may come back. If the Diamondbacks take money throughout the day, you might see this on the client card. That's what I'm talking about. It's early in the day. We have all day to make a decision. So I'm giving you a play that I'm absolutely considering. I'm absolutely looking at. I just hope for a little bit better than minus 130. But it's our guy, Max Meyer. He's on the mound. I've really liked him. I've played on him in spots where it makes sense to do so. And Bryan Leonard, I think this spot makes a lot of sense for Max Meyer and the Marlins. I'm not a big Zach Gallen guy. And the Diamondbacks have had these big series recently, and now they fly all the way to Florida across country for this series. Just feels like a letdown spot, and I think Meyer is the better starter. So Marlins for me. How are you seeing this one?
Can't disagree. If I'm playing, I'm laying, as our friend Ted Savransky would say. The bullpen for Miami got a lot of work on Saturday and Sunday, but having the day off helps that a little bit. But still, Bender has thrown 46 pitches the last 2 days, or 2 out of 3 days. Excuse me. And Pete Fairbanks has not pitched well. He's their closer, but he has not looked good so far. So that's some concerns. But overall, this Miami bullpen is starting to come around. They've got some good arms in that bullpen. And, they brought up Ryan Gusto that you remember from Houston. And he's the guy that I think has got to prove himself. He looked pretty good in his first time out there, but he's like a long reliever. And Luke Bashar has filled in with long relief. So I like the bullpen here for Miami as it's going. I don't know where it rates on TB's stat sheet, current sheet, but I do like it. Not a huge fan, as I've said in the past, about Gallen, and the travel situation is definitely something to keep in mind with Arizona.
TB, jump in here. How are you seeing this game? How are you seeing the bullpens?
Yeah, neither pitcher. It's $5 Tuesday, by the way, guys. Go to WagerTalk.com. Everything's $5 or free except 5% place. Miami leads every category according to my numbers. And Max Meyer has looked great. I think Gallen's a little washed. I'm sorry to use that word, but I think the Diamondbacks have a couple of guys who are a little past their prime, and Gallen's one of them, in my opinion. Max Myers looked great. He did have one start against Arizona where they blew him up, but in his career, not this season. So, man, I got Max Meyer ranked 9 out of 30 on a curve of 30. I've got Miami's bullpen, though. I got them pretty mediocre, ranked 16 out of 30. But Arizona's bullpen right now is ranked 23. So, Miami all the way. I mean, hitting also. I got Miami 8 points higher than Arizona on current form. Miami or nothing here, in my opinion.
Yeah, Zach Gallen, bottom 10% in expected ERA. His expected ERA is 5.45. Bottom 5% in Major League Baseball. Expected batting average is 298. That's bad, okay? If you have a starting pitcher and their expected batting average is 300 or more, that's bad. That's like league worst type bad in that metric. Doesn't strike anyone out anymore. Like very, very few strikeouts for Gallen. Bottom 10% there. Doesn't have much in the way of he's not generating a ton of swing and miss. He's getting hit hard. I guess the one redeeming quality for him is he can get ground balls and he maybe can wiggle out of jams. He still doesn't walk many, so he's going to be around the zone. But this Marlins team, they have some upside offensively, and I do think their bullpen's underrated. I've said this a couple times. They have all these guys they don't have great big time leverage arms where it's like, hey, 9th inning, we've got a great guy to be out there. But what the Marlins do have is a lot of these guys that could come in, give you 2-3 good innings and do it kind of consistently. So I think their bullpen is underrated as well. I like the Marlins here. Brian, what am I looking at? Minus 130? Is it that high? Did it go higher than that?
No, it's a little bit better than that right now. You're probably a lot of 125s out there. That's probably the dominant number right now.
Marlins minus 125. It is there is a good chance that makes my card. I'm going to go reassess after the show. It hit as high as minus 130, minus 135. If that Diamondbacks money creeps back in and we can get this in the 120 to 125 range, I'm probably going to be on the Marlins today. And so there you go. I gave it out on the show. That is the show. We have reached the finish line. Our 3-teamer today. Remember, it's $5 Tuesday. Check out all of our pages and all the handicappers at WagerTalk. It's a great day to browse the site, just see the different styles of handicappers on the site. All the plays are $5. And we've got a 3-teamer for the show. I am going with the Marlins minus 125 full game side. Tokyo Brandon is going a full game team total. Pirates over 3.5. That is a full game team total. And Bryan Leonard's giving you a first 5 total. He says first 5 under 4.5. Tigers Twins. So one more time, that's Marlins on the money line, full game. Pirates full game team total over 3.5. Tigers, Twins, first 5, under 4.5. It's about -110. That is your show today. $5 Tuesday. Once again, check out the WagerTalk site, and the three of us will see you guys at 9 a.m. tomorrow for another episode of Total Bases.